the strength that you have.
Wow.
Pastor made us give us the example.
Example, yeah.
Yes, in the animal kingdom,
Yeah.
you find a cheetah who
Yeah.
will run faster.
Yeah, you
In
find a
you
tortoise
see
also.
the animal that can climb.
Yeah.
So in that way, that tells you what strength, where are your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
By knowing where your strength is, that gives you the more passion. And let me go back to, I think, 2010. That was before I should go to SS.
Wow.
So so
Scary
I
time.
was thinking, I was thinking, what course should I
Should
do?
you do?
So I was thinking, it comes in mind, I should do mechanic or I should do a building.
Mm-hmm.
By the mind say that I should do a building.
Wow.
By doing it, I found my passion in it.
Wow.
And now there's nothing that I cannot do.
Wow.
So the message said, by me knowing your passion and your strength, it helps you to do more.
Wow. Wow.
It helps you to do more.
Wow, thank you. Everything that Gabby has been saying is that the process of knowing himself has been extremely exciting, and then because this message has helped him really realize the fact that he has to love himself more. Wherever he's coming from, he has to love that. He has to understand the fact that this is him, this is who Gabby is, and this is how he has been made. And so, therefore, after loving himself, he's now playing on his strengths and passion. Now he began to realize that this is my strength, this is what I'm able to do, this is my passion, and so he's actually dedicating more time in doing what he loves to do, if I'm right. And so the whole process has been extremely exciting. And so I'd like to also encourage you that you have to actually, if you've not made time to listen to these messages, please find time. They are still on the Morning Dew with Pastor Philip, that same page. They are still on the page. You can also watch these messages, and it will be life transforming, because the fact that he had to acknowledge the fact that he had to love himself. I remember when Pastor was teaching this message, there was one thing that he also said, that do not do things you feel like you things that you know that you are not good at. Do not force yourself to do those things. So yes, because you're seeing other people do it. Like Gabby was saying, he said he was in a dilemma to choose between either doing mechanic or building or construction.
Yes.
Yes. And then finally he decided to do construction. And being there, he has realized that it is something that he loves. Maybe Gabby could have actually decide to do mechanic because maybe a couple of his friends are saying that it is interesting, you get more money. But one thing that he decided to do was to follow his passion. He thinks that he loves doing this more, and so the fact that he decided to choose what he loves, he's actually doing so well in that field or that area he finds himself. And on top of this, Pastor has also taught him to love himself. And so I would also encourage you, love yourself. This is you. Once you realize who you are, and then he also said something that way you would not look down upon yourself. I really love that part, that you not look down upon yourself. People may have their own perception about you, but once you know who you are, once you know what you are capable of, once you know where you come from, I believe that you are good to go. And so loving yourself is very, very important. And so if you're wondering how you can do this, you can please revert back to these messages. You can watch them. You can watch them over and over again. Pastor gave a number of points that I believe that can also bless you. And so please do make time and do that. This is the Morning Dew Talk Show. And all of us here, we are sharing our experience on everything that Pastor taught us, how the whole process has been, on how to simplify our lives. And from what Gabby said, you know that things are really going well and things are actually easier than before. Thank you so much, Gabi. Ram, I think finally it's time to. You've been listening to everyone. It's time to also speak. One of the ways we can also simplify our lives is by fleeing from temptation. I remember Pastor taught this. What are some of the temptations we can actually identify as youth, as young ladies and young men over here? There are so many things that I believe that we may be exposed to, or we may be seeing on the internet, we may be seeing in school, we may be seeing at our job places, and all of that. So there are a whole lot of temptations that we're exposed to. So what are some of the temptations we can identify, and practical ways or practical steps that we can actually make to flee away from them? If you can help us with any.
Okay, thank you so much for the question, and Pastor Philip, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for this teachings also. So from what Pastor shared with us, he told us that, so the Bible says in Matthew that we should watch and pray,
Yeah.
because the spirit, like the spirit is strong, but the body is weak.
Yeah.
And Pastor made it known to us that there are people that they fall into temptations like sinning, some people bitterness, and he mentioned that some people, because of bitterness and anger, right now they've gotten blood pressure.
Yeah.
And he said some people too, because they involved in sexual sins, they've contracted sexual diseases and a number of things. So let's say if someone steals, the person may end up in prison. If someone murders someone, the person will end up in prison, and it will complicate the person's life. So he told us that when someone engages or someone falls into temptation, the person falls into distraction, and like it will cost the person.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Peter and Judas, at the end of the day, because Peter denied Jesus,
Yeah.
and Judas also gave Jesus out,
Mm-hmm.
they are still paying for it, even though they are not even though they are not alive.
True.
We keep on saying that, oh, Peter denied Jesus. We keep on saying that Judas is the one who gave Jesus out for this number of money.
Yeah.
So it still lives on. If someone engages in sexual immorality,
Yeah.
and the person contracts any sexual disease,
Yeah.
it will be with the person. Some of them, they are not curable. So it becomes a lifespan something.
Yeah.
And if you are bitter towards someone and you get blood pressure, we all know what people go through.
Yeah.
So Pastor told us that it will cost you a lot. And the things that Pastor shared with us for us to be able to overcome temptation is by being alert. He told
Wow.
us that the Bible says that watch and pray.
Yeah.
And in the watching, he mentioned that we have to be observant, we have to be alert. Most of the times we end up being ignorant about some things, and we end up doing what we are not supposed to
Still
do.
do.
And he also told us that we have to pray. So when you pray, sometimes situations present themselves to us and we may end up falling into them. But when you pray, you exercise yourself, your eyes and everything is fixed on God. Bible says that we should fix our minds on things that are pure, things that are holy. So I believe that when you engage yourself in speaking in tongues for some time, like during the time that we're treating the 31 benefits of speaking in tongues,
Yes.
Pastor today that you get the mindset of
Yeah.
Christ. You
Yeah.
are able to focus on God. So I believe that when we pray, we'll be able to be free from some situations that present themselves for us to fall into temptation.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is my favorite, one of my favorite parts. And then I remember when we're treating this topic on Facebook, I remember that I realized that everyone was excited about it. People were extremely excited that we could talk about this. All the comments and everything was exciting. Our fourth panelist is actually ready. But then before that, let me just introduce her and see if she's ready for us. Hello, Ruby. Wow, so good to see
Hi, Lady Stella.
you. How do you do?
I'm good, and
You're
yourself?
doing great. You're doing great by His grace. I'm so excited to see you. It's been a while.
I know, right? Same
Same
here.
here. So we're actually discussing everything Pastor had been taking us through for the past 2 weeks, and then I don't know if you have been following closely. We have started. All of them have also shared a few things on what they actually learned on ways to simplify your life. And so once you are here, let me just begin with you. You also have to say something, and then you can also take it. So my first question for you, I believe that you've seen it, but so why is it necessary to speak about God, to speak to God about every single thing? Because one of the things that Pastor taught us was that one of the ways we can simplify our lives is to speak to God about everything. Sometimes we feel like, oh, this one day we can't talk to God about it, but this message has actually made us understand that God actually cares. Every single thing is actually also important to God. And so, have you been able to apply this? Has it helped you in any way? If yes, kindly share your experience and if any results, if the results you obtained from actually practicing this thing Pastor taught us.
Okay, so thank you for the question. And I like to thank Apostle too for this
we
do
joined to
this
do this
distance.
distance.
So
So
irrespective of the
irrespective of the
distance,
distance,
I
I
joined.
joined.
And I would
And
say
I
I
would say
love
I
this
love
series
this series
myself
myself
because it's very
because it's very
practical,
practical,
right?
right?
And I also
And I
agree
also agree
strongly to the
strongly
fact
to
that
the
you
fact
have
that
to
you have
pray
to pray
about
about
every
every
single
single
thing in
thing
your
in your
life.
life.
There's
There's
nothing
nothing
too
too
big
big
to
to
pray
pray
about.
about.
And, even just this morning, I practiced that. So I was asked to prepare, I was asked to prepare jollof for some people are graduating, like my senior course mates. As basic as it is, I've not really tried preparing it for a large, number before. You know how bad jollof can go when it's in large numbers. Either it's too watery or it's too dry. I think, but I just had to pray about it, and the guys are really happy. They just came for the food, and everyone is happy. They're like, I had to stop this mark thing and the love business, and it looks like something I'm good at. Kind of, that sounds. I don't know why it's insulting or I have to take it as a compliment. I really cannot tell, but it actually helps. And I'd also say that even for my exam last week or this week, for instance, of course we've all studied, but I had a situation where I was in the exam room and I was so blunt about something. As simple as it is, instead of just fretting about it, you have to pray about everything, as the series says. I just had to pray about it in the exam room. I just started speaking in tongues. And by the grace of God, I was writing something and everyone was done and everyone was making fun of me, like literally making fun of me. That my dear, stop writing that. You've already scored zero. So just do that. And everyone was in the room laughing. But I still kept on writing and praying. And funny enough, I scored correctly on that question that I wrote the last minute. And by the grace of God, I scored a 90, which is not so bad. And I'd like to encourage everybody that looking at this, you just have to, when you hear the word of God, you have to practice it. You don't have to just hear it, be excited. But I just love this series. It's very practical. And when you apply it to your life will be very simple. Thank you.
Ruby just shared with us a very practical thing she actually did with the fact that we had to speak to God about every single thing, every big thing, every tiny thing. And from what she said, oh, someone will be like, Najala, so did we pray about it? Yes, we do. She did, and she got results. So I mean, every single thing matters. Every little thing matters. Thank you so much. And also about her exam, she did, and then she was able to score a very good mark. So I believe that this is something that we can actually practice. The tiniest things, the things that we are so confused about, the things that we don't see, especially when we are in a dilemma about something, a decision to take, or something that we have to even choose between. Some of these things are things that we can pray about. I remember Pastor even said one thing about even the dresses that we ought to wear, the places that we ought to be at, all of these things. While we pray about them, we should pray about them. We should take them serious. We shouldn't think that, oh, we can't bother God with, we can bother God with everything. God is the first. I believe we can bother him with everything. Thank you so much, Ruby. So, Ruby, let me just ask in general. I don't know. I'd like you to speak how genuinely have helped you simplify your life from your day-to-day activities, your routine, how it has been so far, any challenge, any observation, and anything else you have noticed whilst trying to apply everything the general pastor has taught us in trying to make your life very simple. So basically, this means that whilst you are trying to make your life extremely simple using the points or the guidelines that pastor has given us, how has the experience been with you?
Okay, so thank you once again. And I would say it has really helped me. And even with the part that Pastor says we should learn to prioritize, what you really need to do and do that, like right now, and you can postpone the rest, right? So here, I would say life is in a way, not being negative, but life can be complex or complicated here. You have lots of things you have to do. Maybe sometimes you have to be working, you have to be schooling, you have friends saying, oh, let's go here. Sometimes you can get like different invitations. Like today, there are lots of party invitations right now, right? There are lots of things you have to do. And when you fail to prioritize, you have to trade off your goals.
Yes, I'd like to ask you to do something. Initially, when you joined, I didn't even let you introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself and mention where you're connecting from so that it makes it easier for the audience to relate with what you're saying. Please do.
Oh, okay. So please, I am Ruby Kodia. Yes, from Youngstown State University, Ohio, USA. And I'm a proud member of Living Stones. And I'm from the Achimota ABC branch.
Wow. Okay, please, you can proceed.
Okay,
You can go on with what you were
so can
saying.
I continue?
Yes, you can.
All right. So as I made mention, life can be very a bit complicated here. And I would say this message came at the right time for me because just a week before, there was a session held for all the graduates, teaching assistants to release stress. I still have my stress balls here just to get rid of stress because I think they all noticed we are really stressful and it really affected my efficiency, my studies. I had lots of things to do at the time. And I like this is the first time I'm experiencing stress. And when I tuned into Pastor's session of morning dew, I heard about prioritizing and doing, you don't have to be excellent also, or you don't have to be perfect at something, but you have to do your best, continual process, which is you can term as excellence, right? To do your best at the time and do the best you can. I don't know, but when I just heard that, I was like, so instead of doing all these plenty things at the same time, which you're not even achieving anything at every time, why not just select some and focus on that? And at least you can say by the end of the day, you've achieved this amount of success. Because trying to focus on a lot of things at the same time, you end up not doing anything at all. So I just realized that no, let me just focus on this. And I think it has really helped me because just a week before, as I mentioned, we had a session about stress release. And then they came to do a whole lot of talk about 1 hour or two, but it still didn't help me. I still didn't get relief because I was still very stressed. I don't know whether I was really losing my mind, but just by listening to Pastor's message, I tuned in at dawn when I woke up and just realized, okay, let me just do away with some of the things I'm doing. Let me hold on to this project, hold on to this project, and focus on maybe I have exam now. Let me focus on the exam and I'm to go. And I can see that my life is less stressful
Wow.
now. Now I can have time because even with this time that I'm sitting here, someone actually wanted me to be at a party. And because I said I cannot go, maybe the person feels offended, right? But you should learn to prioritize as well. And it's helping me now. Other than that, I cannot do lots of things at the same time, or I cannot be at all places at the same time. And that's the best way to live a simple life, a quality life.
Thank you so much. I'm actually enjoying myself. Please be on hold, be on standby. Let me just speak to how has the experience been for you, Lester? Well,
Okay. Um, for now, what
mm-hmm.
I've experienced with this particular series, the series is really interesting. So,
Very.
like everything about this series is like the main principle is how you are going to plan your life. So, when I wake up in the morning, or maybe when you are approaching a different week or a different month, I try to make plans down. Okay, so this month, this and this I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
I'll try to just
You're
have
doing
time and
things in such a way that,
go within myself and
yeah.
see where I erred and
Mm-hmm.
also try to make amends with that. So
Mm.
it's like me planning for the next period. It helps a lot. So
Yeah.
like for now, what I know is planning towards something helps with
Or
this
not.
series in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah. And just makes things so easy. I mean, when you plan ahead and then you get to today, you take your board or whatever or wherever you planned on. I mean, when you go to it, today is 8th. Today is this. Okay. It says I'm going to do this. Straight to the point. You know what you're doing. It's like it's that easy. It's not like you're not coming to figure it out. By the time you're done figuring everything out, your time is rather wasted, far spent, and then there's nothing achieved. So thank you so much. For all that you experience, and I believe that the viewers are also having their own share of the experience, and then we'll take some of their comments soon. Irama, please tell me, how has the experience been for you so far? The whole how to simplify your life. How are things being or going simple for you?
Okay, so I'll say that this very session, like the 2 week session, Pastor has been teaching us how to simplify our lives, and the points that he's been giving us is very simple but very
Mm-hmm.
transformational. Like when you pay attention to them and you decide to do them, it's transforms.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really spoke to me was forgetting about the things in the past and focusing on what is with you now.
Yeah.
He told us that we should forget past achievements and focus on what you are doing now, and do not be anxious about the future, but just focus on what you have today. Do not stress yourself to do something that's not within your capacity, but
Yeah.
do something that's within your own ability, something that you know that, oh, I can get this thing done within this period. And I also have learned that I should mind my own business. You shouldn't be poking your nose into people's affairs when they've not invited you to. And I can see that that thing really saves a lot of time. Because if someone is talking about something which has nothing to do with you, and you spend about 10 minutes talking about the thing, that 10 minutes you could have used it to do something else. So I've learned to prioritize time. I've learned not to procrastinate. Once I told us that when you
I think you want to mention
procrastinate,
that people, mention people's point.
when you procrastinate, it makes your life complicated. So you say that, oh, I'm coming to do this. Oh, let me do it the next time. You find out that you will never be able to get that thing done, and it piles up.
Yeah.
And you are not able to achieve what you want to achieve. So far, that's what I've learned, and that's what I'm going to apply.
Wow.
Thank you.
Gabi, how is it going so far for you? Making things simple for you, straight to the point.
Okay, thank you for the question. I've been learning through all these points that Pastor have shared with us. It has been a blessing to me particularly, on the things like asking God for everything. But most of the time, I just believe God for greater things.
Yeah.
But not knowing the small things, God also accounts
Do them.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So, knowing myself in that way, knowing God that He's supplier of everything,
It's helping you.
it's helping me a lot.
Wow.
It's
Thank
helping
you.
me a lot.
Wow. Gabi is saying that basically this series has helped him understand the fact that it was not just about the big things to God. It was not just about talking to God about the big things or the huge things. Even the tiniest things, this series actually helped him to realize that he had to talk to God about the tiniest things. And now he's doing that, and it's really blessing his life, is actually making things for him extremely simple. Thank you so much, Gabi. Well, I was talking about one of the major points that Pastor thought that we actually enjoyed. So many people enjoyed themselves that morning. I realized it as from the comments and all the the comments that people were actually passing. Minding your own business, one of the ways to simplify your life. Now tell me, how has this been for you? Trying to practice it, trying not to be where you're not supposed to be, being at the right places at the right time. How has it been for you?
Okay, thank you very much. This mind your own business, more or less, do yourself. So, this statement in particular is a whole mood on its own.
I tell you.
So, there were 3 points that Pastor gave out. So, like the first one was, we should minding our own business makes us focus. It gives us focus. And the other one is it prevents us from fights and prevents us from gossips.
Yeah.
So, being focused maintains your perspective you have in life.
Yeah.
So me trying to be focused, that means I have to the things that I've tried to prioritize in life, I must give focus to it. So whether I'm doing God's work or anything I'm trying to do, I must give full attention to it. And usually when we say God's work, people limit it to some particular people. Maybe if you're a pastor, that means you can do God's work. But pastor has made us know that doing God's work does not necessarily mean you will be a pastor and you preach, but just working for the church. When you're working for the church, you are also doing God's work.
Yeah, right.
So me trying to focus on that, it will help me a lot. So diverting my attention from such focus and trying to poke my nose or intrude into people's affairs, it's going to waste my time.
Yeah.
Because
very true.
more or less, me doing that is I'm gossiping. It's just like I'm gossiping. And also, I know gossiping, when somebody is gossiping, it's like the person creates a hostile environment around. So, being a gossip is not a good thing to do.
Of course.
And by the circumstances I've experienced around my community, I could see that you could be around and you hear a loud noise from a different place coming, you go and find out what happened. Where I go kind of want some movie. Like this one has done this,
So
this one has done
practical.
that. So because at the end, when certain happen, like it creates some sort of rivalry amongst them and some anger and ill feelings among the two. So trying to be something you are not, minding someone's business is not a good thing. So to me, what I've learned is I can't take that personally. I can't be in such a situation where everybody is against me because I'm a gossip, I'm this and that. I can't take that personally. So what I have to do is just
Mind your business.
focus and I move.
And you move.
Of
I
course,
mean,
move.
we move.
We move.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm actually enjoying myself. Rama.
Yes, please.
Okay. We're speaking about priorities, but please tell me now, what are priorities? What are some of the things that we ought to prioritize? What are some of the reasons why it's good to decide on your own priorities? And then, if this series trying to prioritize things has actually helped you, please, if it has, let us know a few things that you decided to prioritize that has actually helped you through this teachings.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So, priorities are things that matters to you
Yeah.
the most. And, you know, we have a number of things that you can do within a particular time.
Yeah.
But there are some of them that when you are arranging them in order, you
Yeah.
can see that one is more important than the other.
Mm.
So priorities are just listing up the things and putting before some things others that are more important and are more necessary than others.
Yeah.
So let's say a Christian. So if you have to prioritize things, you look at the spiritual aspect of your life and you probably look at your finances, your academics, relationship, or if the person is married. So you arrange them in order. You don't just have to do things because you feel like doing them.
Yeah.
You have to set up things in a way that you get things done, the major things done within the time given you. As Pastor made us understand that time is apportioned to all of us, and you cannot have time all for yourself. The time keeps on moving and things need to be done within that particular time. So when you prioritize things, it makes you focus. Like Listowel was saying, you have to set your mind on what is important to you and then you get it done. And it also helps you avoid distractions because when we shared, Pastor shared a word with us from Acts chapter 6 that um, the disciples realized that the people were grumbling about food, like things that are not really necessary.
Yeah.
Then the disciples then they sat down and they decided that, oh, we are going to decide and we are going to focus and devote ourselves to prayer and to the ministry of the word. Other people can take care of the food and other things, but the main focus is that we should be focused and we should prioritize what we are doing, which is prayer and then ministry. So when they did that, it was able to save them from engaging in things that will not let the church grow, because as at that time it was when the church was now growing. So if you focus on food and people gossiping about others in the church, people fighting, it is not going to help the church
Yeah.
grow. So yeah, I believe that when we focus on things that matter the most, we'll be focused in life. We'll be able to get things done at
The
a
right
particular time. We'll be
Yeah.
able to, we'll be efficient and we'll be effective
Wow.
always.
Wow,
Yeah,
thank you.
you.
Viewers, this is the Morning Dew Talk Show, and we have been discussing everything Pastor Philip has been teaching us on how to simplify our life. And if you realize, we have been discussing the benefits, some of the challenges, some of the, but mostly it has been the benefits, because most of us are applying everything that Pastor Philip has been teaching us on how to simplify our life. It has been extremely simple than we thought. So basically, that's what we are discussing here. If you've not called a friend to join us, please call a friend to join us. This is the Morning Dew Talk Show, and we have been sharing a whole lot of things. I believe that you do not want to share this alone. You would want someone else to also hear of this. So call one friend, call as many people as you can to be blessed by this session. And so we continue with the conversation. Gabi, one of the things that Pastor taught us was procrastination. That one of the things that will actually complicate our lives is to procrastinate things all the time. So now, how to simplify our lives, how to make life easier for us, how do we avoid procrastinating things? And you yourself, how has this thing about procrastination helped you?
Okay, thank you for the question.
Thank you too.
Ma said when Pastor begin taking us through this, how to simplify your life. One thing he deal with is for you procrastinating what you have to do.
Yes.
And in that series, it took us through how people will just relax and not to do what tasks they have to do in each day.
Yeah.
So looking at that, you find that you can take time to rest, but whilst you have a work
Yeah.
as a task,
You don't joke with it.
just go
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
And let's do it and just let it go.
Yeah.
So one thing Pastor always has given us to know that is also some people procrastinate due to laziness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, laziness is everywhere, but but you should not allow yourself to feel lazy. It's a spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mercy,
Yes.
Lord.
Which pastor made us know that laziness is a spirit. So you procrastinating what you have to do always keeps out piling things that you have to do. And one thing pastor made us know that we should always believe God to do anything at any given day. So you realizing that the strength is from God, not you.
Wow.
It makes you go there and do what
You
you
gotta
want
do.
to
Wow.
do.
Wow.
So it's a really blessing to me.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you
Yes.
so
I
much.
thank Pastor Philip also for teaching us.
Wow.
Yes.
So basically, his experience on procrastination has been the fact that he has to know that he has to do this when he's supposed to do it. There's no need to postpone it, to procrastinate it, because he believes that once you procrastinate things, you are actually being lazy. And like he mentioned, laziness is actually a spirit, not a good one. And so he is not actually entertaining procrastination. And so personally, I have gone to believe or understand that it is very necessary that I do not have to push or shift things from when I ought to do them to another time. I'm rather wasting time. I'm rather being lazy. I'm rather looking for excuses to do what I'm supposed to do, which is not good. And so this is the Morning Dew Talk Show. Like I was saying, Pastor has been teaching us all of this. So if you didn't join, if you didn't connect, you have missed out. But well, I have good news for you. All the videos on this particular series and all other series we have treated is available. Yes, good news. And so you can go to the Morning Dew with Pastor Philip Badger page, that page, and you will see them. All those videos are labeled with their names. How to simplify your life, dangerous friends, they are all there. All the messages that Pastor has preached, you can find them. And so it's not too late to actually see them. I'd like to go on a quick break. Once I'm back, it is about to get much more exciting. Do not forget to call that one friend. Do stay with me. I'll be right back.
Hallelujah! I want to welcome you to a brand new day. I want to invite Pastor Amy to come and take us to a time of worship. Hallelujah! I want to welcome you to a brand new day. I want to invite Pastor Amy to come and take us to a time of worship.
and they are discussing everything Pastor Philip taught us on Morning Dew. And also, yes, if you have anything to share with us, kindly leave your comments below, and I'm sure I'll definitely take a few of them before we wrap up. And so let me go back to Lady Ruby. Ruby, can you hear me? If you can hear me. So I have this nice question for you. Striving for excellence, one of the things or one of the ways that we can actually simplify our life, striving for excellence, but avoiding perfectionism, one of the ways we can simplify our lives. In your own understanding, briefly tell us what it means, and also if you've actually tried or if you have practiced this, how the experience has been for you. I, you made a few examples earlier when you spoke about it. It's not so repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you once again. Yes, and striving for excellence while avoiding perfection, right? So, sometimes we may want to get perfect at something before we actually get into it. So maybe it's like a business, maybe you want to start solo business, you're not so good at it. I'm not just experiment with people's, tummies, but maybe with what you have right now, you can actually start something, but you just sit down and wait to be perfect, or to get more customers before you start, which is wrong. Actually encouraging us to, at least maybe you're good to a certain extent, right? You start, and by the definition of excellence, we want to say, okay, keep improving on whatever you are doing. So maybe you start with maybe 30 sales per week. By being excellent, it means you're trying to grow through, the different developments. You're trying to develop in different aspects. And maybe in a week or two time, maybe you should move from 30 customers probably to 40 customers. That's you're working towards something. So this point actually is not encouraging us to be very mediocre or very average and be comfortable with where you are. Maybe trying to say, okay, maybe you don't have a good voice. You just want to join the choir because God does not, accept burnt offerings in a loose context, right? So you should just work at getting better. You just maybe some voice training, but don't just wait till you are perfect before you start working. There is no time. Actually, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So even with the work of God, you don't need to be too perfect. Just start with what you have, and you have grace actually also to do. For today, what requires you to do today, you have the grace to do that. So just keep doing that. And for me personally, I'd say, even personally, I just got a guitar recently. I've tried a bass guitar before, but not a lead guitar, but I just got an acoustic lead guitar. And I'm not going to wait to finish a music school before I start playing it, right? I'm just starting with a little. Right now, little, I have YouTube. So I can be practicing, maybe it might not be going too well, but there's no room in this world to be perfect for the perfect, right? It's just the people who are making effort and trying have a larger space to fill. So why not start now? With time, I'll be getting better, and very soon, I might be very excellent and be able to deliver maybe even outside. So I've said it's a very great topic, which is you can actually apply it everywhere, in your academics, in your spiritual life, maybe even with your prayer life. Sometimes there are times you may not feel like praying. You might think, okay, praying an hour is quite difficult. Why not start with 5 minutes? By the time you get to 10, 15, 20, or even trying to wake up for morning dew, maybe sometimes you start at 5, you always end up waking up at 5:45, or I don't know, maybe a minute right after it's ending. I don't know how it works down mindfully for you, but it could actually happen. But don't give up. Maybe set your alarm and even pray about it. Even the series encourages us to pray about every little thing. So just pray about it. There is grace available. And maybe for now, you might be joining at 5:10, missing prayers. Don't give up on morning dew. Even if when you wake up late, you can still watch the review, right? You can still replay. Just keep at it. And you realize that with time, your body might just even
That's
adjust.
right. Thank you so much. And
And
to what she's talking about too, that reminds me, or that it took my mind back to when Pastor was teaching this. It took my mind back to when we started morning the talk show, to be precise. So I was just then he said and told me that, oh, I was going to host the show. Ow. Okay, so this is something I've not done before. What's happening now? So pastor said you do it. Okay. Well, with zero training, we started, and I believe that by the grace of God, all of you have seen the progress that the show has made, how far we've come, all the challenges that we started with. And I believe that we've been getting like better. We
Yeah.
weren't, when we started, we were not actually looking at being perfect. We just wanted to do better. We just wanted to do good. And this show is a even not the show alone, the morning dew itself shows how far we have come, and it truly shows that pastor actually believes in what he teaches us, because he himself is actually
He's
practicing it.
practicing it.
Yes, and this is a good one for us. Thank you so much, Ruby. Thank you, Pastor Philip, for all the things that you teach us. Now, Ruby, let me ask you this: finding yourself far from home, like you said, you are in the States, and so finding yourself from home to study, I'm sure that sometimes there are challenges. There are challenges that you may face, especially finding yourself in an environment that you have not lived before, and you just have to be there to study. How has this whole series on how to simplify your life helped you over there, that you realize that, oh, this is the teaching I was just waiting for to make my life easy or much easier or comfortable around this whole place? If this series has helped you, and if you found yourself in a situation like that, how is it going? Briefly, if you can take us through.
Okay, so I've seen that of course life life here is no it's so different from Ghana. In Ghana you have the luxury of time. I miss time. Oh my god, sorry. And you are very comfortable with what you're doing. Life is um I mean you can plan around it, but for here it's so different, especially when I came in. Cultural differences it's really a thing. And like maybe you can wake up on a Sunday in Ghana, you see people in church dresses, it looks very religious or very spiritual. But here it's quite different. Church is not a big deal here. And to be very different is very different. I mean, to be very spiritual is to be very different. And you come across people and having issues because maybe let's say you all have to go and do this, which looks like maybe something bad, engage in something bad, or maybe an unhealthy party, and you want to exclude yourself, and it looks like you are being, I don't know, like a fake Christian. And sometimes people talk like this place, people really talk, and it can actually get to you as well. Even just recent, just recently, just even yesterday, like an example like that happened. You have to go, you don't want to go, and it becomes a whole issue. And I'd say that one of the points that has really helped me is to pray about everything. And the importance of praying about it is to experience the peace of God. Sometimes, for here, you might not have another person you can actually talk to about this, maybe religious difference or cultural difference, and it really can get to you. And people can actually also criticize you for wanting to be different. It's really that big deal
I think
here because
recently I saw one
it's
of
very
your
easy to
testimonies.
conform to.
One of your testimonies from friends. Yes, I read one of your testimonies on that, and so I believe that from what you are saying, like you said, it has not been easy, but the messages and the words, because I realized that the testimony was about how the message or the preaching on morning will help you overcome a certain thing or a certain idea or a certain mindset someone was trying to put um, on your mind, and which you nearly fell for, like you said in your testimony. And so I believe that this teaching is helpful, especially for you out there. And thank you so much for all of that you've been sharing with us. It's been amazing, and also keep at it. Kindly keep joining us. I
Mm.
believe that it will continue to help. We are not done. We are still on the
No.
topic. As one of the Gabby, let me just quickly ask you this. Forgetting about the past is one of the ways that we have to simplify our lives. How has it been for you? If there was anything that you had to forget or let go of, and then this message helped you to deal with that.
Okay, thank you for the question. Forgetting the past is a good thing to practice because forgetting about the past it will make your mind focus on what should be done.
Hold on, not to cut you. Listen, what do you think about forgetting the past?
Mm,
It's
okay.
actually yours, right?
Yeah. So forgetting the past, when this particular section was delivered to us, like I had experienced something like that before, so
Could relate with
yeah,
it.
I could relate very well.
Tell us
So
about it.
I'm going to share my
Briefly.
past.
Yes.
So that was some years ago when I was done with JHS, doing JHS, and the results were out, and I had issues with my placements because I didn't perform well
Okay.
during the exams. So my parents had to go through a lot, but they never blamed me. But personally, I felt
Yourself. You could have
there were
done
some
much.
actions that I did and it helped me, and there were some things that I was supposed to do that I did not also do as well.
Yeah.
So by God's grace, I was able to. They were fighting for the best for me, so I got Bishop Eman and I went.
Okay.
So when I went there, and I made a vow to myself that such situations should not happen to me any longer.
Yeah.
So then I took in some necessary measures that will help me not to revisit my past. So by God's grace, I did my best and I was able to excel. So at times when I'm there, I feel like if I was supposed to do something better, then like I'll be at a different place. So at times I do go like all I say is remember such situations, and I feel bad in a way and I move on. So recently when the message was delivered to us, so I was like, oh, if that's the case, then I came into conclusion that it's like for now I'm better off than before because there are some virtues that I've been able to imbibe that I've seen that okay during that time I wasn't even doing such things. So now that I'm able to do this and I could see that it is helping me to some extent in life, then I should just forget the past and move on because currently it's an opportunity that I have to take. So the past is a history, so the opportunity is now. So just to move on. So like when the message came, I was very happy and I've forgotten the past.
Wow. That's so great. This reminds me about something. I was talking to my boss this week, and then my boss is actually someone that rose from from the bottom. He started as a church mate, and so he was telling me something about the fact that he has totally forgotten about his past too. So those days when he started in like a single room, and then now when he looks at where he's living now, he has totally forgotten about that past. That he feels like anyone who wants to break his business or who wants to take him back to the past, he will get rid of you before you take him back to the past. But the past is something that he never wants to remember. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's true, because it wasn't a pleasant one, but by God's grace, it has been like a good story for him now. So the fact that he has totally forgotten about it is not something that he may want to go back to it. So it's very necessary that, and so because he has forgotten about it, he is taking measures that will not take him back there. And I believe that was one of the reasons why he made that comment, that anything that will take him back to the past, you get rid of him before you take him back. It's not a pleasant thing. And so I believe that for teaching us this, and then your experience and your testimony, I believe that has also encouraged us as actually. Nabi, I think I have a last question for you. And this is about not being too hard on yourself. One of the things Pastor taught us on how to simplify your life, not being too hard on yourself. Is there anything you would like to share about that one?
Okay, thank you for the question. On this, Pastor let us know that in life there will be a mistake, but not to focus on your mistake that you have done and grieve about it. You should let the mistake just go.
Yeah.
By letting your mistake go, he made example that he gave us example in the Bible, the characters that plays in the Bible. There are mistakes that they have done, but what keeps them moving is focusing. So what the message taught me is to keep focusing on what
Wow.
I should do and not on the past that experience. So in that way, there's another experience that he shared with us.
Yes.
It's not everybody that will have this one. That's what the father should know. He gave us an analogy about people loving people that love Toyota cars, people that love Lamborghini, BMW, and others. So in this life, people may choose to like you, but not look. I shouldn't not look on those who choose not to like me, but to choose to look on those who love me more. Because I may not know what I'm doing right that the person keep liking me.
Yeah.
So I should be focused on what the person is loving me more than the person is not loving me. I will also like us to go to another point that Pastor shared with us. Another point he made is we should not blame ourselves when we are not getting to where we want to get in terms of development. He made us know that when you see a boy, someone who has built up his body, we should not intentionally to look at really, but every important or every virtual, like let me say in simple way, everything that you want to get at, it takes a process, a gradual process. By you allowing yourself to go through the process, that will make you to come up to a good person that you want to be. So in this way, I may not say that I will not accept my current state, but I will look to my future state.
Wow. So Gabi is basically saying that we do not have to be hard on ourselves, and one of the things he's trying to say is that Pastor took us through a session whereby he made us understand that not everyone will love us, and that is okay. You don't have to beat yourself because this person doesn't love you. You have people that love you, and so when some people don't love you, it is okay, it is normal, it is part of life. And he also made an analogy that people, the same way people like BMW, the same way people like Mercedes, the same way people like Toyota, the same way people like the Hyundai, and so it's okay that people may not everyone will like you, and that's okay. One of the things that Pastor also taught us was not to blame ourselves for everything, not to be too hard on ourselves. So sometimes when things happen, like Mr. was saying earlier on, he was blaming himself that, oh, if he did this, if he did that, he could have done better. But it's okay. It's okay. It's past. We have to move. We have to move forward. We have to make progress. We have to forget about the past. That is why we don't have to blame ourselves for every single thing. Viewers, this is the Morning Dew Talk Show, and everything that we have been discussing, Pastor Philip taught us, and we are learning it and we are practicing it, and it has been so helpful. Closely, if you have been following, you realize that all the testimonies my colleagues or my panelists have been sharing has been so wonderful. It is time for testimony, and I'd like to take some testimonies, and then we can take some of your comments. And so I'm reading from here. The first testimony I have is from Matilda. And Matilda's testimony on how to simplify your life says, the current series on how to simplify your life has given me an assurance that I should be able to talk to God about everything, knowing that God is interested in everything that concerns me, whether big or small. If it is important to me, then it is important to God also. I've also learned to forget about the failures of the past and focus on today, because God daily loads us with his benefits. God bless you, Pastor Philip. So from this testimony, you'll see that everything that we have been discussing here is no lie. It is actually what Pastor is teaching us, because this individual's testimony is basically everything that we have also discussed here. And so this other testimony is from Quincy. Quincy says, the current series, How to Simplify Your Life, is really amazing. It is very clear and straight to the point. I have discovered that being too hard on myself is actually a way I complicate my life. I've also learned that there are certain pains I don't need to bear if only I speak to God about it. Another important thing that I have learned to really pay attention to is to mind my business. If I'm not in the position to settle it, I will just move on with my life. God bless you, Daddy Phil and Pastor Amy. And this is from Quincy. And so, okay, this is also from Leslie. Leslie says, God bless you, Pastor Philip, for the current series on Morning Dew. I have learned that time is of essence, and hence we should keep things simple and not complicate matters. I look forward to the rest of the series in the upcoming days. God richly bless you, Pastor Philip. this is from myself. I said that the current series on how to simplify my life has been very enlightening. So far, I can say that by the time Pastor is done with the series, there'll be a lot of things that I would have learned, which will be very beneficial to me. And yes, today, as he finished yesterday, I can testify that I have learned so many amazing things and so many things that is going to be beneficial to me as I practice them day by day. I have seen the need not to be too extra on things for no reason, whereas I can just get things done very simple with less stress. I have also learned that minding my business is a full-time job with less issues or no issues. I choose to remain focused. God bless you, Pastor Philip. This testimony, are we done? Okay. This is the last one. Thank you for joining us. This is the Morning News Talk Show. I'd like to encourage you that this week and next week, an all new series begin with Pastor Philip. I'm excited. I anticipate what he's going to teach us because this has been exciting. He has given us exciting and great content back to back. No two ways about that. And so I'd like to encourage you, join us from Mondays to Fridays, 5 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. prompt, and we are done. So 5 a.m. please make it a point to join us. If you are having challenges waking up, let us know. We'll wake you up. We have a special team that wake people up. Yes, we have a special team that wake people up. We have a special team that pray for you daily. I also have a team that wakes people up. Until you there, don't worry. Oh, don't say if it's about waking up. We've got you. We've got you. Even you know, prepare. Easy. So you don't worry. Leave us a message and let us know. Pastor, please, I cannot wake up. Oh. We've got you sorted. It's not a big deal. It's nothing to be shy of. I'm serious. We wake people up as well. So you make it a point to join us. If you cannot wake up, we'll wake you up and we'll all fellowship together. We'll all fellowship together as one and we'll all learn more. Also, I'd like to thank you for joining us. But please do not forget to make it a point and make a time to join us next week on Morning Dew with Pastor Philip. That same page, 5 a.m. prompt. We are there. We never miss a session. And so please always join and connect with us. Share with your friends, share with your family members. Tomorrow too, I'd like to remind us of the life transforming service happening at ABC. There are also services going on at the East Legon branch, AJ branch, also the Bantama branch. So you can join us at any of our branches. If you have challenges in locating where we are, leave us a message and we will attend to you shortly. Thank you for joining us. This is the Morning Dew Talk Show. Ruby. If Ruby is there with us, Ruby is saying bye. Together with my panelists, we are saying bye. Thank you for joining us.
Hallelujah. I want to welcome you to a brand new day. I would invite Pastor Amy to come and take us to a time of worship. Hallelujah. I want to welcome you to a brand new day. I want to invite Pastor Amy to come and take us to a time of worship.